Seems like. We'll move on with the remainder of our special council meeting, business arising from closed. Moved by Councillor Charbonneau, second by Councillor Bouchard. Be it resolved that council rises from the closed session of April 24th, 2025 at 6:26 p.m. with the following to report. The council discussed the proposals received for the development of the municipally owned property and determined the option that represents the most beneficial opportunity for the township. And that council directs staff to proceed with the preparation of an agreement of purchase and sale with Council's Auto Repairs for the municipally owned property located at 1175 Highway 11 South, Matheson, Ontario, legally described as Bowman Concession 6 South Part Lot 4, Parcel 5857 SEC. And further, that the town manager be authorized to enter into negotiation to bring back a finalized draft of the agreement for council's review and consideration at a future meeting. All those in favor? Moved by Councilor Bouchard, second by Councilor Gadry. Be it resolved that council has reviewed and discussed a proposed agreement of purchase and sale for the municipally owned property located at 367 4th Avenue, Matheson, Ontario. All those in favor? Moved by Councilor Gadry, second by Councilor Bouchard. Be resolved that council hereby amends the agenda to include item 11F, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of an agreement of purchase and sale between the corporation of the township of Black River, Matheson and Parvati Holding Inc. for the disposition of the municipally owned property located at 367 4th Avenue, Matheson, Ontario, and that council recessed until 7 p.m. All those in favor? Do we have any disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof? Seeing none. Move on to new business, which is our public 2025 budget public presentation and resident input session. So I am going to not read word for word because that would not be very much fun this evening. But we're going to give you an idea of where we stand with our budget. We discussed for 2 nights how we got here, but this is just a presentation of where we're at. So obviously this budget exercise is completed annually by council. And it's determines our township's level of municipal services, which is water, sewer, garbage collection, roads, fire protection, library services, arena services. It obviously identifies how revenues will fund expenses. And it is our management tool and operations guide and financial plan. So what we decide tonight will provide staff direction on how to operate the township for the next year. And as we speak, we are finishing our 1-year budget plan and we're moving into a 5-year plan so that for the next 5 years, we will have a pretty good idea of where we're going. So this year, the overall increase in the budget is 3.6%. Some of the uncontrollable costs on the board is obviously insurance. Our insurance year over year increased 9.5%. Extended health benefits increased 13.1%. Our DSAP, our Cochrane District Service Adjustment Bureau, increased 6.86%. And OPP, the provincial policing, increased 5.98%. So in that 3.6%, we absorbed those 4 major increases. This graph gives us an idea where our operations are spent. So the general government is just over $3 million. Provincial services is just under 2. Fire is $500,000. Personal and or protection or property and personal property and personal protection, sorry, which is Wi-Fi and what's the other name? Emergency measures, yes, that's right, sorry. It is just shy of 300,000. Transportation's coming in at 3 million. Recreation is just over 500,000. Library, solid waste, and cemetery are all below 500 grand. So that's where the gist of the money being spent. This is a list of our capital projects and how they're being funded. So we have some generators being purchased for some of our halls. $70,000 in the budget, and it's being funded through grants and levies. We have a Highway 11 beautification, which is the 101 and Highway 11. There's a budget of $500,000, and that is being funded through a grant. We have a cancer prevention initiative, $28,650 for the fire department. That is being funded through a grant and a levy. Bunker suits, $12,400. That is being done entirely through the levy. Breathing apparatuses for all 3 departments. It's coming in at $288,000. That is being done through reserves and donations. Council has agreed to purchase a snowplow truck. $400,000. That is being financed through long-term debt. This year, we have $515,000 in road work. That's all being funded through a grant, which this will be decided upon. Whether it's gravel, ditching, brushing, pavement. Our recreation department has $15,500 in there for grants and some through the levy, which is to commission our solar system. We have $15,000 in there for under being funded by the levy for gym equipment. $5,000 for the Gautier Lake change room, which will be funded again through the levy. Furnace repairs at the $25,000 through the levy. And the library has a ramp and door being repaired. That is $10,000 that is being funded through reserves. Our working reserve, our unaudited balance at the end of last year was $3.78 million. This budget that we're proposing, we're putting $157,000 back into the working reserve. And at the end of 2025, our proposed working reserve will be $3.3 million. The tax impact, which is, we just did this on the municipal portion only, so we didn't do commercial industrial. A residential property assessed at $150,000 at the end of 2024. Taxes were $2,626. With our proposed increase, we're coming in at $2,658, which shows a increase of $31.92. Residential education tax has not changed for 2025. When we move to water and sewer, we're proposing an increase of 4% for water, 5% for sewer. Garbage collection rate will see a decrease of 33%. So each residential user will experience an increase of $27 for water, sewer, and garbage together. So if we do a comparison of your utility billings, 2024 water, sewer, and garbage, you would have paid $1,371. 2025 water, sewer, and garbage, you will pay $1,398. And that is it for quick presentation. Just want to take a couple seconds to say that our council looks forward to a very prosperous 2025. the the closed meeting that we just had is gonna reap huge benefits for our community. And before I open the floor, I just wanted to say thanks to our staff. Some are represented on the side there. And Angie as well up here in the front, and to council for their hard work. I don't know, I asked, but no one got us an answer, but we're presenting a budget in April of this year, which we haven't done for many years. So that goes to show you the hard work that each and every one of our staff has done. Mr. Jagger.
Mr. Mayor, can I be excused for a second? The foreman that's on call tried to call me 3 times.
Yes.
Something that's up.
Yes, please. Thank you very much. So I will open the floor to anyone in the public that might have questions, and we will try and get you the answer. If you do come forward, just ask you to state your name and your question, and we'll do the best answer we can. Yes, sir.
John Kenzie.
Yes, sir.
So with regard to the reserves, you show, what was it, 3.8, 3.7, 3.8 million at the end of 24?
Yes. Yeah, 3.8, and we're gonna be 3.3.
So the end of this year, you're talking about 3.3.
Yes.
So in the presentation, you showed some areas where you were pulling out of reserves to pay for something. But there's about $190, $190,000 that's not accounted for. Out of that, almost 500,000.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so you take the decrease in the reserves.
Yep.
Subtract off of what you allocated that you're spending reserves on. So it leaves about $188,000. So I'm just wondering where that was going.
Okay, well, I'll get Heather to explain for it, but when we did this, the capital here, we didn't put every single item on there. So we didn't put every capital project, we didn't put every little item in there, so there, it might be, or it is.
Well, that's 200 grand almost.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly where it is, but I'm saying we don't have every item listed there. It's a one-time payment on legal services. Pardon me?
There's a payment on legal services and huge, like also the breathing apparatuses are coming out of the service.
Yeah, I accounted for the breathing apparatus.
There's a payment
Whatever
on
you've
legal,
identified
there's a
there.
payment on legal services,
A one-time payment.
a one-time payment. But now it's.
So why wasn't it identified then? That's 200 grand. Just wondering why it wasn't.
It was discussed in the open public meetings, we just.
Why wasn't it listed is your question? It's not a tangible product, right? It's just it's a service that was paid for, so it's not you can touch a breathing apparatus, you can touch a generator, but you can't touch a one-time
Well,
legal.
it's still.
Yeah.
It's still money.
Yep.
Almost $250,000. I'm just wondering why. When I look at the reserves, I see 200 grand missing. I'm wondering where did it go?
Yeah. So we had that in 2 council meeting, no, the budget meetings actually, it was in the budget meetings that we discussed the one.
Were those open to the public?
Yeah. Yeah, 2 nights.
Is that where you did a more detailed?
Yes, that's the one that we went through line by line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
That was
On the reserves, when do you anticipate actually increasing the reserves? Do you have a plan for that? Like, when are we gonna get back up to 6 million or whatever we used to have? Is there a plan in place to
Yep,
put
we,
in so much every year? Or?
yep, we're just starting a 5-year budget.
Okay.
And in that is
Okay.
our pathway to get back up to a healthier reserve.
With regard to the dump truck, you probably already talked about this, but what is the amortization on that? How many years is that you expect?
I will turn that over to the side table, please.
So we're just applying for the long-term debt right now, it's a process and it's with Construction Ontario. We're gonna look at different options to see. Max is 10 years. Direction is from council is hoping it would be less. And we're going with the lifetime of the truck would be 15 years, so we don't want to spend it out the full lifetime of the truck.
So what if we have to buy another truck 2 years from now? We're gonna have another long-term debt,
We may,
okay?
What we're trying to prevent is buying 5 trucks this year and 5 trucks next year.
Right.
So we're gonna slowly work our way into it.
Right, I remember you discussed that previously, so I'm just trying to, in my mind, say, okay, we have long-term debt on this truck. Maybe it goes 5 years. 2 years from now, we get another long-term debt for another 5 years. But these are $500,000 trucks. This is going to kind of backfire here if we're not careful.
Yep.
You know, especially if we want to build up our reserves again, if we ever need it. You know. Anyway, that's just like it's been.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Any other questions? Okay. We can move right along with the rest of the meeting. Yeah, I was moved by Councillor Cancel, second by Councillor Charbonneau. Be it resolved that council adopts the 2025 operating capital budget for the Corporation Township of Black River Masson as presented and amended through public consultation. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? To bylaws, moved by Councillor Charbonneau, seconded by Councillor Bouchard. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-019 being a bylaw to establish 2025 tax ratios for the corporation of the Township of Black River Masson be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed this 24th day of April 2025. Questions, comments? All those in favor? Here. Moved by Councillor Bouchard, second by Councillor Cancel. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-020 being a bylaw to provide the adoption of the 2025 tax rates for the Corporation Township of Black River Masson be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed this 24th day of April 2025. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Moved by Councillor Charbonneau, second by Councillor Gattari. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-021 being a bylaw to establish 2025 water user rates for the Corporation of Township of Black River Masson be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed this 24th day of April 2025. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Moved by Councillor Bouchard, second by Councillor Cancel. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-022 being a bylaw to establish 2025 sewer user rates for the Corporation of the Township of Black River Masson be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed this 24th day of April 2025. All those in favor? Moved by Councillor Cancel, second by Councillor Charbonneau. Be resolved that bylaw number 2025-023 being a bylaw to establish 2025 solid waste fees for the Corporation of the Township of Black River Masson be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed this 24th day of April 2025. All those in favor? Carried. 11F. Moved by Councillor Bouchard, second by Councillor Cancel. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-024 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of an agreement of purchase and sale with Parvati Holding Inc. for the lands located at 367 4th Avenue be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed this 24th day of April 2025. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Cancel, second by Councilor Charbonneau, be it resolved that the special council meeting is hereby adjourned at 7:21 PM. All those in favor? Carried.